Deep Webbers. This is Mochagen98, returning for another episode of Deep Web Chronicles. And today we are going to see lots of websites that are entertaining. And you're going to be in your nice little safe environment, and I'm risking my life for who? For you. Actually, I'm not risking my life, but we'll say I am because it makes it just a little bit more exciting. If you like what you see, please smash that like button, smash that subscribe button, help me out. I am trying to get this channel going. I know I'm just a fat person who's on YouTube, but hey, fat people need love too. We do. But I'm sure you don't want to hear me talk, so without further ado, we are jumping right to our very first website.
Deep Web Chronicles, episode 5.
Alright, so for our very first website, we have this right here. And all it is it's income and ass paying. I don't know what the purpose is of this, but I came across it, and I found it very entertaining. So I decided to go ahead and bring it on here, just as a way to show to people that the deep web, yes, it is dangerous. I'm not going to deny that. Yes, there are real hackers. There are real hitmen. There is a real black market. Everything's real. But the average person who gets on the deep web, as long as they're careful, usually they'll be okay. So anyway, this is the first website. Alright, the very next website is Onion Soup. So welcome to my Onion blog. The subject explored will be diverse, but the main focus will be criticizing the total loss and breakdown of rationality in the U.S. politics. On the right and on this page are collections of linked Onion sites. Immediately below there's an app to test the connectivity of Onion domains running on port 80. Sometimes if you're on a lagging connection, a domain may time out and an error message will be received. With this app, you could test the availability of Onion domains. In the input field, type an Onion hostname without http // or it's :// excuse me. By request, here's a new tool to query a broad range of advertised services bound to Onion hostname. Use drop-down list in the right-hand section of the app. Okay, so these are just basically all kinds of tools. And then on the right side, we have some links. We have Mr. Rogers' Nazihood. Okay, I have to look into it because it's kind of caught my attention. So let's click on that. Mr. Rogers, the neighborhood of make-believe, observation of reality, fake news, alternate facts, and related cultural befuddlements are further co-founded and befuddled on the following link. Rogers.html. Okay, so before we go into this political area, I'm going to add, I will never talk about my political beliefs on this channel. Well, maybe not this channel, but on this series. Because one, it's nobody's business. Two, you don't really care what my political beliefs are. And three, this is about Deep Web Chronicles. It is not about politics. And politics is a hot spot, especially if you live in the United States. And it's just something I don't want to do. So please do not start a war in the comments below. Whatever you believe is whatever you believe. I really don't care. So I'm happy for you. So, Mr. Rogers. Okay, so recall from your youth that Mr. Rogers slapped on a disclaimer when the show transitioned into neighborhood of make-believe segment. Rogers insisted that the sock puppets and cheap scenery of the skit did not compromise an actual neighborhood transpiring in reality. By contrast, when adult Americans turn on their TV sets, they cannot distinguish between reality and their own neighborhood of make-believe, as no TV personality throws up warning to denote imaginary, the chicanery, political, or otherwise spewing from the screen. Oh, look, it's Mr. Rogers. This is making me think of my childhood. Oh, and this is like a little trolley. How cute is that? Given that It required but a few broadcasts for mass media to have convinced a majority of Americans that Iraq possessed weapons of mass destruction, an idea which did not correspond to reality as a thought experiment. How many mass media broadcasts would it take to convince a majority of Americans that Mr. Rogers was a Nazi who authored Mein Kampf, another idea which does not correspond to reality? Blowhard number 1, Behind the Anchor Desk. The author of acclaimed Bin Laden biography documented that Bin Laden held that Mr. Rogers was not a Nazi, that Mein Kampf was authorized by the European in 1925, and that Rogers was minus 3 years old at the time of the book publication. You're either with the dead terrorist leader or you're with us. Okay, first of all, how can you be minus 3? Okay, that means that you're not even an egg. You're not a sperm. You're not a fetus. Your parents probably, or maybe not even your parents. Well, I guess it would be your parents, regardless if they're married. They probably did not even meet at the time, or they didn't do the deed, because minus 3. Okay, let's be real here, you guys. Minus 3 is not an age. You cannot be negative 3. Come on. That right there makes me want to say this whole website is complete crap. I gotta keep this family friendly. Okay, let's keep reading on. Or how many media broadcasts would it take to convince a majority of Americans that 1 plus 1 equals 937? Blowhard 2. Behind an Anchor Desk. A survey of Americans newly released indicates that pot people remain strongly committed to count an error that 1 plus 1 equals 2. You're either with the pot people or you're either with the pot people or you're with us. Okay, I had to read that twice. First of all, come on, man. What's wrong with pot people? All they got is love for you. Okay, they got love for weed, food, colors, bongs. But all they have is love for everybody because they're pot people. How many violent people do you know who smoke pot? Come on, think about it, people. All right, or perhaps most importantly, how many media broadcasts would it take to convince a majority of Americans that direct observations of reality are false? It's a good question. Behind an Anchor Desk 3. Recently, it has come to our attention that while traveling in the Pacific Northwest, Noam Chomsky observed a brown-spotted owl in the forest hooting. What do you think it's doing? Mooing? The disgraceful professor then proceeded to below the observations at 10:03 p.m. I observed a brown-spotted owl in the forest hooting. You're either with the observers or reality or you're with us. The late appearance of what are deemed alternative facts have vaulted rather painfully into prominence. President Trump's press secretary falsely declared that Trump's inaugural ceremony drew the largest audience to ever witness the inauguration period, both in person and around the globe. And Trump's campaign strategist, Kellyanne Conway, reeled off the counterfact on 3 separate occasions that a terrorist massacre occurred in Bowling Green, Kentucky. To be rigorously anal, that sounds painful, or just plain philosophical, hooked on phonics did not work for me. We might interpret these alternative facts as predictable externalizations of potty worldview termed counter-realism, namely, a claim that something happened in the world is true despite of or because of the fact that something has never happened. For instance, the assertion that the Bowling Green massacre in Kentucky happened is true, despite that it never occurred. The assertion the Bowling Green massacre in Siberia happened undoubtedly true because neither the city existed in Siberia nor could a massacre occur in a non-existent city. Okay, I'm not really good at geography, but I am pretty sure there is a Siberia. I mean, is this a sapphire I'm reading? I don't know. I'm thinking it's not, but I'm not getting what he's trying to say. I mean, sometimes I'm not the brightest tool, but to place a current concentrated and jammed up political, cultural, intellectual befuddlement into absolutely the worst context imaginable, let this sink in. What if the ideas which do not correspond to reality are preferentially evaluated over ideas which do, and that alternative facts adjudged as true in every possible world, not just in the actual one? At your own risk, ponder the possible consequences of these possible metaphysical nightmares with no possibility effective and antidepressants on hand. Okay. Wow. That was deep. Let's see what else they have here. That actually like almost gave me a headache. Darwinian seizures. Let's see what else. Probing the human cryptophoros. Out of body, out of mind. The Boston masturbation. Wrestle in the vat. Sounds like a song. The worst arguments. A family of dysfunction. Mind cramps. The third entitlement. Holders Darwin contra Fodor. Plato versus Obama. Dear Father. Cannabis and psychosis. Let's see what they have to say about that. For those of my viewers who are people who appreciate cannabis. Okay, once again, I will not give my views on cannabis because, well, it really is none of your business. And two, yeah, that's not what this video is about. I love cannabis. No, I don't. Yes, I do. Who knows? In December of 2007, I submitted the following piece of Lancet. It's a brutality, savage, and rebuttal of its conclusion that long-term pot use causes psychosis. Okay, actually, just so you guys know, scientifically, yes, this is proven. However, you have to have a history of psychosis first for it to actually cause psychosis. So part of this is true, part of it is false. All right. It's a brutally savage rebuttal of its conclusion that long-term pot use causes psychosis. The essay is far-ranging, logical, and philosophical assault in its criterial and methodological approach adopted in the line of research. Although my critique was published elsewhere and declared impressive, it was rejected by the Lancet because an editor screamed that I lacked proper medical credentials. Though it's a bit long and at times abstract, anyone interested in what is palmed off by the media as a hard science regarding the allergy long-term negative consequences associated with marijuana consumption may want to check this out. Okay, let's take a look at it. In late July of 2007, a medium storm erupted, then rapidly spun out of control over a report issued by Lancet. What we heard in these torrential blasts was that science had finally discovered a causal link between long-term cannabis consumption and psychosis. This critique will explore three fundamental questions regarding the scientific viability of the Lancet's meta-analysis. Two of the questions raised are philosophical in nature. I can't say that word, guys. The other goes to methodology. The Lancet conclusion: we have described a consistent association between cannabis use and psychotic symptoms, withdrawn from a curious approach toward criteria and data. The reasons for this wisdom will be carefully punctured and dissected in this essay. Okay, I'm not going to read this entire essay because I have a couple of other websites that I do want to cover. But this is kind of interesting. I mean, I personally know a person whose profession is psychotherapy, and we have actually had some discussions over this. And not only I'm not bashing marijuana in any way, shape, or form, but not only can it cause something called I can't remember what it's called. It basically makes you throw up a lot. If you're a big smoker, it'll make you so sick, and you'll just throw up. It's like an allergy that one could get just from smoking it a lot. Actually, smoking a lot. But if you are destined to like mental illness or psychosis, it can actually cause psychosis. It is proven. I'm not saying it's going to happen to everyone, but it can happen. Here are some of the symptoms: hearing voices that other people do not hear, the idea that someone can control your thoughts, other people being aware of your private thoughts, having thoughts that are not your own, having ideas and beliefs that others do not share, the idea that someone or something is seriously wrong with your body, body, never feeling close to another person, the idea that something is wrong with your mind, feeling other people cannot be trusted, feeling that you're watched or talked about by others. Okay, that sounds like paranoia, which is a side effect of marijuana anyway for some people. I know someone who will not touch it because it makes that person paranoid. Um, so that just sounds like paranoia. It doesn't necessarily sound like psychosis. Now, granted, I am not a therapist. I do not have any credentials stating that anything that I am saying is true. I'm just telling you from general conversation with a psychotherapist and doing my own research. This is what I've found. Um, so, anyway, this is really interesting. I might come back and read it another time because it's quite lengthy and I'm not going to spend this entire video on marijuana, although some of you may want me to. But, alright, so that was onion soup. Lots of good information on it. We may come back another time and read other articles. Alright, next website. Alright, so some dude in a trash bag with like a sheet or something over his head. It looks like he has the hiccups. I don't know what he's putting over. He's putting something over his. I have a little yapper. She wants to be a superstar. Something killing you. Oh, I can't make out what it says. If you think you can, go ahead and comment below. And then that's the end of the video. Okay, so this website right here is a hacking website. I've been covering a lot of hacking things, actually not intentionally. I had a friend of mine interpret this for me because I didn't want to butcher the Spanish language, which I'm quite good at doing. So what it basically says is, we are a hacking group and our intention is to help and contribute to this place of knowledge and understanding. We talk about hacktivism, information security, anonymity, and privacy. We publish dumps, which is basically dumping like passwords of people's personal information. Um, we don't copy or pay for other websites. So that's what this is about. All right. So I was playing around with this website earlier, and I'm not going to go too far into these websites for the simple reason that it does actually dump people's information, and I could have access to passwords and stuff like that, which I really don't want to try to edit out. So let's go to leaks. So basically, if I were to click on these links right here, it will take me to a website. And from what I've seen, is websites with dumps, with passwords, with usernames, with emails. I even found a website that had all these Gmail accounts with their username and passwords. Now, granted, the passwords are not like readable in a sense. You have to know a little bit about coding and encryption to be able to figure out what the passwords are. But nevertheless, it is there, which makes it very scary because if I was a bad person or if I was malicious in nature, I don't want to say a bad person because not all hackers are bad. If I was malicious in nature, then I could actually get into those accounts. Granted, the passwords have not changed, which is scary. It's very scary. So let's go into dumps. So all these right here are different websites with dumps. So once again, I went into them. I'm not going to go into them online because I'm not going to be subject to releasing other people's information. Uh, you go into it, and it basically, once again, releases website usernames, passwords to get into the websites, and it's in alphabetical order and it's just endless. I could spend hours on it just going through it and testing out to see if these passwords work. Some of them I'm assuming will work, some of them I'm assuming won't, but it's scary. I can't emphasize enough that you guys need to be very safe on the regular internet because people get a hold of your information and they post it here on the deep web. And the people who have knowledge on how to use that information could get into your website, change your password, change your account, and basically hack you. I mean, and nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. So that's basically this website. Um, it's called Team Hacking. And it's in Spanish. So I can't read it. I'm not even going to try to read it. But there's that. Very interesting stuff. Is the Cannibal Cafe. Love cannibalistic feet. Not really. Okay. So, anyway, this is the Cannibal Cafe. And what is in the Cannibal Cafe? I guess we're going to find out. So, since the Cannibal Cafe formal, is dedicated to covering a full range of sexual fantasy. The topics here deal with fantasies involving consenting adults. Spam off topic posts. Any post or thread dealing with or implying a participation of a minor or underage person will be deleted. If you are not legal age to view this material or find such material offensive, you should exit the forum immediately. So let's look. I'm kind of afraid to go in here. I might just go in and start editing things out if I can't show it on YouTube. Let's see. Hannibal. Okay, who am I? Let's see what this is. Funny Hannibal Pecker breath. Okay. Okay, who am I? You are an idiot that I'm going to kick your ass. Okay, who am I, Lector? You're just a lame ass peon. You're just a lame ass peon. Oh, claims a little peasant. Or pissant, sorry. Sounds like children fighting, if you ask me. A male free for free, no strings attached. Hi, does anyone want a 22-year-old male, brown hair, blue eyes, 5'10", 150 pounds, no limits? I'm a 21-year-old boy. We make fine art and of cannibalism. And there is absolutely nobody answered. I see what else. Real snuff slave for immediate slaughter. This stuff is sick. I really want to eat a girl. I'm having thoughts about really eating a girl alive. I would love to eat their firm breast and tasty feet and also the rest of their juicy body. But the thought of jail puts me off. It is just a fantasy getting the better of me. What should I do? Well, Brad, you should seek help because that's not normal. That is definitely not normal. This is quite sick. Human meat for sale, fresh and frozen. I have frozen male members and human fat candles and soap by my slave. Did a good job, and I have a bit of extra scraps. Too, if you have a dog or like scraps, send requests to my email. I don't know about you guys, but I'm actually getting a little nauseous reading this. Needed young female long pigs for real live roast or butcher. I need young female long pigs for live roast, live butcher. Or if you want, you can behead or hung before a butcher or however you want it. It's your choice. Applicants are required. Be willing, be between ages 18 and 40, physically fit, free of communi- comic, commu- I can't read. Reading is hard. Communicable diseases. Be able to realize and accept their own fate. Be able to completely disappear with no trace except for false locations. Be willing. And there's a ton of follow ups. So this lady named Mona, she followed up. I offer myself like to be gutted alive and can be eaten up. Please narrate how you will do it. Mona, please email me so we can discuss it further. I offer myself like, oh, so they didn't publicize how they would do it. Well, you certainly like to use a lot of long words, which you might think makes you sound intelligent. But the absurdity of the post is just laughable. This is a forum for a cannibal website. If your tastes don't lean towards cannibalism, then please feel free to leave. Do you travel from board to board using long words in an attempt to make yourself feel better, or do you just like an argument? In either case, it is truly pathetic, so get a life. Savage, dude. He like, man, what a savage. He got triggered. This guy was totally triggered. It's hard to follow these follow ups just out of curiosity. Has anyone ever thought of why this idea of human cows is so appealing? Is it part of the human nature or is it more dependent on some childhood experience? I'm beginning to think that it's human nature. I posted this as a joke a while ago and have very many responses. I'm surprised at the results. I'm also tempted now, also. Is it the key word here fantasy, roleplay? Is someone going to tell me that girls are being spitted, roasted, and eaten? I tend to think not. If I'm wrong, please fill me in. This is getting interesting. Yes, it is just fantasy and roleplay. No girls are being harmed. I did take the post too much of an extreme. I just apologize for that. Okay, so it is fantasy, which I thought originally, but still the thought of like somebody getting eaten is just grosses me out beyond belief. It's disgusting. Human meat. I'm kind of old though, 22. Last time I checked, 22 is like young. I wish I was 22. I'm looking for a young boy meat, 6 to 16. Any volunteers that are out there looking to give up meat, call me. Okay, you need help. That's gross. First of all, don't eat people. It's illegal, it's disgusting, and just don't do it. Secondly, he's a child. A child! Preparing. Would love to talk about Thanksgiving. Nothing like having a nice, tasty human for Thanksgiving. Okay, so they're basically, this one says, Christine he gives his email address, post your email, Addie. Maybe we have something to talk about, Thanksgiving and such. Sorry, have to post twice. Must be so sorry I had to post twice. Regarding meat. Anyone want to deliver a femme live roast, trussed and ready to cook? Plenty of meat with big breast? These people are so sick. I would be interested in learn more about the opportunity you're offering. There's really no reply to that. What's up with these people with live roast? I mean, come on. Male meat available. Hungry. Anyone interested in eating a male? I'm serious. I want to be slowly prepped, trussed, basted, screwed, then as I'm coming, be put into the oven to be cooked. Any takers? Definitely not me. Definitely not me. These people are going. These people are sick. Girls roasting on an open fire. That sounds like a song. It really does. Where did that go? I live here in Vancouver, BC, and love the idea of being DOM. I would love to talk more about it if you are interested. Tell me about your fantasy and what you've done or you want to have done to you. Then I will review the applications and get back to you. Please specify your age. Let me know when you reply. If you have JPEG, a JPEG would be appreciated. I wonder if they have like a search box because I was like looking for recipes. I had thought that at one point there was a recipe, but I guess not. Okay, here's a story. Mr. Kronos was starting to lose patience, waiting for Lot 89 to come. It was hot in the room. The air conditioning was barely working. The body heat from the others did not help. To make matters worse, it was August in Savannah, Georgia. He hated the dog days of August. To top it off, Lot 89 was the last of the day. It seemed like each sale took forever. The auctioneer was working at half speed. Maybe it was the heat, or maybe it was dragging things out to build suspense. In any case, he wished that the lot would start soon. He knew one thing for certain: he was going to be successful. Bitter money, but would not be what successful. Bitter money would not be a factor at any cost. He would have had. He wanted. I cannot read. Money was number one. He wanted first to hit lot 89. Okay, I'm gonna after things. I'm fast forwarding because my eyes are jumping and I'm not understanding what this lot thing is. Okay, a fellow gourmet who could not take advantage of the auction was the one who alerted her. Finally, the lot 88 sale was completed. The lot was sold to fancy and high price Atlanta restaurant. At least he was not bored by the sale. All four girls were prime meat and they resisted from the start to end. Some workers had to be called from the in-house butcher shop to get them under control. It was a joy to watch. After things settled down, the auctioneer returned to the stage. He walked over to the microphone. Slowly, he started to speak. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a last-minute change in the makeup of Lot 89. Instead of 3 girls, only 1 will be offered at this time. The other 2 girls will be up for auction tomorrow in Lot 1. Damn, they know, he thought. No matter, I will have her. As on cue, the girl was lit on the stage with an auction house worker on both sides of her, another behind her. The first thing that everyone in the room noticed was her height. She appeared to be well over 6 feet. She was wrapped in the official Sweet Peach Meat Company blanket. She was wrapped in a sweet meat. peach company blanket. Her hand was tied behind her back and her mouth was taped. She was wearing high heels, all the better to show off her leg meat to the bidders. Her full long blonde hair came to her shoulders. Her facial features were that of a beauty queen. Her eyes were big, blue, and wide open. The room filled with excitement. Even with the blanket, she looked sexy and, better yet, nice and meaty. Everyone forgot the heat in the room. The young girl was slowly led to the center of the stage. The auctioneer returned to the microphone. This is my greatest pleasure to offer Lot 89. Last but not least, she is 20 and a half years old. She stands 6 feet 2 inches. Her weight is currently 158 pounds. She is graded prime meat, grade A+++. She has just been fattened and is ready to butcher. Okay, guys, this is someone that, like, a person we are talking about. Okay, guys, so we are talking about a lady that they're talking about butchering. Keep that in mind, okay? It will take me a while to figure out now best to butcher her such choices. He could almost taste the meat. Nice, tender, juicy thigh steaks were his favorite. The girl had the best developed thighs he had ever encountered. Her whole body was perfect. She just the right amount of fat content. Whoever fattened her for slaughter was an expert. Of course, she deserved much or the credit just by being her. She must have been a hell of a find for the person who sold her to the auction house. The first thing that attached him to her was her waist size. The second was her breast. He could hardly wait to get her. Stood out. The girl looked terrified. She looked widely around the room at all the men staring at her. The auctioneer approached the girl from behind and run his hands over her sweaty, golden tan thighs. Just look at these tender, juicy thighs. The meat is firm to the touch and the texture is perfect. She has been corn-fed to perfect. Ah! They're talking about it like she's a cow. She has been corn-fed to perfection. Note the nice layer of the meat on the ribs and her meaty butt. With that, he turned her around, displaying a sharply and sexy ass stamped with the Sweet Peach Meat Company seal of her left cheek. Everyone in the room stood up for a better look at this mouth-watering piece of girl meat. Well, thought the auctioneer, it appears I have a hot one. As she was turned around, a stream of urine ran down her leg. Her eyes were wide open with fear. One of the workers quickly produced a towel and wiped her clean. Shall we start bidding? With that, a large scale rolled to the center of the stage. The girl was led on. The large digital dial above her head showed 158.4 pounds. The auctioneer grabbed her left breast because of the quality of the appearance of the meat. The bidding will start at $30 a pound. The audience was amazed at such a high starting point. True, she was a rare find, but $30 a pound was about 10 more than the average going price of a girl graded prime. Ah! Oh my gosh. Wow. All right, guys. That's all I'm going to read about this. This right here is the Cannibal Cafe, where you could have fantasies of being a cannibal and talk to other weirdos who fantasize on eating humans and write weird stories about the Swedish delight. So once again, this is Cannibal Cafe. Okay, Deep Webbers, that is all for this week. We've seen lots of things. My personal favorite was Cannibal Cafe. I've actually been to the website before, and it is as entertaining the second time as it was the first time. But anyway, if you like what you've seen, please like and subscribe. Feel free to share this video. And everybody have a awesome day. Thank you.